These pages hold my quiet cries, the words I hid behind my eyes. To queens and ghosts and younger me, I write to set the silence free. Letters I never sent, wounds I never meant, stories locked in tear-stained ink. On the edge where hope and heartbreak link, each line a step, each word a key to find the self they couldn't see.
There's a kind of silence that feels louder than any noise, a quiet that echoes in the spaces where help should have been. I lived in that silence, felt it deep, like cold weight pressing on my chest while the world kept spinning around me. It's the kind of silence that isn't just absence of sound, it's the absence of presence, the absence of someone to hold space for your pain, your trembling, your breaking. This episode is a letter to the Dormouse, the one who slept while I was drowning, the one who checked out when I needed you most. This is a letter I never sent because sometimes the hardest words are the ones we bury deep inside. Words that sting too much to speak out loud, but ache so much to keep silent. If you've ever felt invisible in your own pain, if you've ever screamed for help while someone else looked the other way, this letter is for you. It's called To the Dormouse Who Slept Through My Pain, because sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who drift away when the waves crush the hardest. And sometimes learning to face the truth is the first step towards finding your own shore. The Dormouse in Alice in Wonderland is a sleepy little creature dozing off, half aware, drifting in and out of the story. To me, the Dormouse became a symbol of those who are present physically but emotionally distant, the ones who aren't really there when you need them. I had a Dormouse in my life, someone who held space beside me, but their heart and mind were somewhere else. When I was falling apart, they were asleep, or maybe they chose to be. That feeling of shouting underwater and having the person next to you pretend everything is fine is a kind of pain all in its own. It's loneliness within loneliness. It's like being in a crowded room but so utterly unseen that you might as well be invisible. Like screaming into a void that swallows your voice whole. This letter is my attempt to reach out across that gap. To name the hurt that lived in that silence, to acknowledge the emptiness left when someone you trusted drifts away in the moments you needed them the most. And maybe to find some peace, to give words to a pain that was buried deep so it can breathe and begin to heal. To the Dormouse who slept through my pain, I remember how quiet you were. Not the comforting, quiet kind, but the kind that swallowed me whole. I screamed in ways only my trembling hands could speak. I broke in ways you refused to see. You were there, your body was, but your heart, your soul, they were tucked away behind closed eyelids, behind walls you built so high I never had the key. When I reached out, you turned away like a dream slipping through my fingers. I wasn't asking for perfection, I was just asking to be seen. But instead you chose to sleep. Sleep when I needed wakefulness. Sleep when my pain was a storm and your silence was a void. I wonder now, were you afraid? Was your sleep a shield from the storm you didn't know how to weather? Or was it simply easier to close your eyes than to face the cracks in both of us? Because I think that that's what made it so hard. Not just your absence, but what your absence said about you and me. About the places we couldn't reach. The wounds we couldn't heal together. I was drowning. And you were the one beside me who didn't throw a line. And maybe you were sinking too in your own way, but your sleep left me gasping alone for air. I'm not writing this to blame you. I'm writing this to unearth the truth that we both buried. A truth that sometimes love isn't enough. And sometimes presence isn't presence at all. I needed you awake. I needed you here, but you were the Dormouse lost in sleep while I was losing myself. Emotional abandonment is one of those wounds that doesn't always leave a scar. You can see. It's invisible, but no less real. When the people we lean on, whether family, friends, or partners, turn inward and check out, it can feel like the ground beneath us shifts. It's not just sadness. It's a profound loneliness that makes you question your own reality. Am I really this much to carry alone? Was my pain not worth staying awake for? I remember the nights wrapped in silence, my own tears only soundtrack. I wanted to shout, to scream, to wake the Dormouse beside me. But the harder I tried, the deeper their sleep seemed to get. That kind of pain makes you small. It makes you doubt your own feelings, makes you question your worth. It plants a seed of self-doubt that grows wild. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm too heavy. Maybe I should stop asking, stop needing, stop hoping. And when the person you trust the most becomes a ghost in the room, the silence becomes deafening. You learn to swallow your cries, to hide the cracks in your heart, to convince yourself that maybe you imagined it all. Maybe your pain was never really there to begin with. But pain doesn't disappear just because no one sees it. It lingers in the corners, in the quiet moments, in the space where love lived once but faded into absence. Emotional abandonment isn't about someone leaving physically. It's about someone you needed choosing not to stay emotionally. And that kind of leaving leaves you stranded inside your own storm. I don't blame you for everything. I don't expect you to carry the weight I couldn't hold myself. But I do need you to hear this. Your silence was loud. It echoed through my nights and tangled with my fears. It was the kind of absence that spoke louder than words ever could. You may have been asleep, but I was awake and aching and lost. And the hardest part wasn't the pain itself, it was the space between us. I needed you not to fix me, not to have the answers. I needed you to stay awake, to sit beside me in the dark, to be present. That presence could have been a lifeline, a quiet hand, a shared breath, a steady heartbeat to remind me I wasn't alone. But instead I held myself together with threads too thin to last, and the Dormouse slept on. And in that silence I learned something hard, something that people we want to wake us are the ones who choose to remain in their own sleep. And sometimes the only way out is to find the strength to hold yourself when no one else can. It doesn't mean you're weak for needing more. It means that you're brave for surviving the quiet that wasn't meant for you. And so this letter isn't for the Dormouse. It's for the part of me that stayed awake alone. For the part of me that kept fighting even when the fight felt impossible. For anyone out there listening who's drowning in silence, you are seen, you are not alone. And even when the Dormouse sleeps, you can still find your own way back to the light. I had to learn to be my own witness, how to be awake for myself when no one else would be. That's one of the hardest lessons, realizing the person who should have been your refuge wasn't there. But from that emptiness, I started to build something new, a way to hold my pain without needing anyone else to carry it for me. That doesn't mean I stopped wanting connection. I did. I still do. But I also learned to give myself compassion and care I wasn't getting. Sometimes healing means sitting with the hurt alone until it's softened enough to breathe again. Sometimes it means becoming your own Dormouse, watching over yourself even in the deepest sleep. It means learning to cradle your own heart gently when the world feels too loud. It means being both the storm and the shelter. And while the journey is lonely at times, it's also powerful, because when you become your own witness, your own guardian, you reclaim something sacred. Your right to exist fully, without waiting for someone else to validate your pain or presence. So here's to the quiet strength it takes to stay awake, to the resilience that grows in silence, and to the fierce love that finally blooms when you decide to be there for yourself, no matter what. I don't know if you ever meant to sleep through my pain. Maybe you were broken too. Maybe your silence was your own kind of suffering, a way to survive when everything else felt too heavy to carry. But I am no longer willing to wait for you to wake up. I am waking myself. I am learning to hold my own heart gently, even when it breaks. To soothe the cracks with patience and grace, I am learning to listen to my own cries and answer with kindness to the comfort I once longed for but didn't find. I am no longer the person who waits for someone else's presence to feel whole. I am here, I am awakened, I am enough. This is not just a declaration, it is a revolution inside me, a fierce reclaiming of my own life, my own light, my own love. So Dormouse, wherever you are, I release you from the weight of my hope. I free myself from the shadow of your sleep, because I have found a new kind of waking, one that doesn't depend on you or anyone else, one that rises from the depths of my own courage and worth. I am awake, I am enough, and this time I am staying awake for myself. If you're carrying your own pain alone, if you've ever felt like your cries were met with sleep or silence, I want you to know you're not invisible. Your pain is real, and your feelings matter. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel betrayed. It's okay to mourn the absence of someone you needed, someone who wasn't there. And it's okay to start waking yourself up. You deserve to be held, not just physically, but emotionally, to be met with kindness, with presence, with understanding. And if that's what's missing from the people around you, I hope that you find the courage to be that safe space for yourself. There's no shame in choosing your own healing. There's power in becoming your own witness, power in learning to listen deeply in your own heart, power in holding your own hand through the darkness. You are not alone in this, even when it feels like the world is quiet, even when it feels like you are invisible. Your story is valid, your feelings are valid, and your journey matters. So take the time you need to wake fully, to open your eyes, to own your strengths and resilience, and know this: every small step you take towards yourself is triumph. You are enough, you are seen, and you are worthy of love, especially from yourself. The Dormouse may have slept, but you don't have to. You can be awake, you can be present, you can hold your own hand through the darkness. This letter isn't just a message to the Dormouse, it's a letter to anyone who's ever felt abandoned in their pain, to anyone who's ever cried in silence hoping for a sign that they matter, to anyone who has ever carried the weight of loneliness when the world looked away. You are not alone, you are seen, you are heard, even when it feels like no one else is listening. You are enough, awake, whole, and beautiful just as you are. Remember, healing isn't linear. Some days you will feel like you're waking up anew, and other days you might drift back into that fog. And that's okay, it's human. What matters is that you keep coming back for yourself. Thank you for listening, for choosing to be present with your own story today. Until next time, be kind to yourself, hold space for your pain and your hope, and never forget your presence is a light in this world, no matter how softly it shines.